The sun is shining at White Hart Lane, but it's a chilly day in England's capital city. Steve Dunn is the man in charge. It's the 132nd league meeting between two of the long stayers in the top flight. Tottenham have won 46, Everton 42, 43 draws. It's usually tight when these two teams meet. Everton get us off and running at White Hart Lane, and the aim is to restore some pride, not just for them, but for Tottenham Hotspur as well, after those FA Cup defeats. 3 points would suddenly haul either side back into European contention. Not that they're that far off anyway. Everton looking to make an impact straight away. Naismith's delivery, but the flag was up against the Scottish international. First shout of the match for Steve Dunn. This is one of Tottenham's favourite fixtures, by the way. They are unbeaten in their last 11 encounters with Everton, and the Merseysiders haven't won at White Hart Lane since 1985, when their winning goal was scored by Gary Lineker, who went on to play here for Spurs. Carr. Radzinski. Casey Keller will come and collect. A Canadian and an American up front for Everton today. Radzinski and McBride. Here goes Pistone. Too far ahead of the strikers though, and it's going to drift for a throw-in. Thomas Radzinski scored a late equaliser when these teams met on the opening day of the season in a 2-2 draw at Goodison. Doherty's throw. Pistone. Who is getting a run in the side. He's waited a while for that. It's cut out by Ledley King. Yobo clears. King. Broke kindly for Poyet. Chance to burst into the box. They soon put an end to that idea though, Everton. Watson leaves it for Radzinski. Ledley King will marshal it behind for a goal kick. King, who missed much of the season through injury. Tottenham rather relieved to have him back. David Moyes suffered the first big setback of his managerial life at Everton last week with that cup defeat at Shrewsbury. It had been pretty plain sailing till then, and he was magnanimous in defeat. Mind you, Everton didn't deserve to get even a replay out of the game. It was a strangely lethargic performance from them. Tottenham know how they feel, having suffered a similar fate at Southampton. David Unsworth in his second spell with Everton now. Went all claret and blue in between. Played for West Ham and spent about 10 minutes at Aston Villa 2 before deciding to head back to Merseyside. Keane. Whoops, it's long. Stefan Everson though, not giving up on it. Pistone won the battle, and it's away by Joseph Yobo, who has proved to be a sensational signing for Everton. That's going to drift away from Gary Naismith. Everton's last victory over Spurs, home or away, came in April 1997. A 1-0 victory at Goodison. Gary Speed, the scorer that day. They really don't do well against Tottenham. And they'll be hoping their luck changes today. That's cut out by Lee Tier. Yobo. Just back from injury. Watson to Pistone and back again. Steve Watson looking for movement. Pistone's still an option. Radzinski is there as well. And it comes to Lee Tier, who hasn't scored yet for Everton. Had a great chance to open his account in the Cup last week, but fluffed it. Doherty. On by Everson, looking for Davis. Still possibilities. Keane. And he's run out of room. It did trickle over the line. It will be a goal kick. So Espen Boortsen didn't expect to figure today, but an injury to Richard Wright in the warm-up has given the Norwegian keeper an unexpected chance on the big stage. He was released by Watford in November and is only on a month's loan. Radzinski hooked away. Spurs can't quite dig it out. Gemmell trying to squeeze it through, and Ledley King had to deal with it. Radzinski. Naismith centre, and it will give Casey Keller a test. Radzinski. Gary Doherty's actually playing in the heart of the defence. Can play there or up front. Lee Tier. Everson. Keane. A buzz of anticipation around White Hart Lane as Robbie Keane looks to make his way towards goal. He'll have to take the long way around though. Darren Anderton, over a decade at Spurs now, and it just eluded Gus Poyet, who's wearing the captain's armband. And Teddy Sheringham's sideline. Perry's header, and a shove by Lee Tier.
Just keep passing.
Doherty's free kick, met by Joseph Yobo. A tentative start from both teams, but you might expect that. They are looking to give themselves a lift and to give themselves a hope of European football via their league position, and it opens up here for Everton, and they have taken the lead. And what a start for Brian McBride! An incredible story. The American international, who's only just arrived on loan, was thrown in at the deep end today with Rooney and Campbell out. He quite likes the deep end. A fine finish. And Brian McBride has made an immediate impact in the Premier League with a goal on his debut for Everton. Ten minutes gone in the Barclaycard English Premier League, and a storming start for the Toffeemen. Turned away by Watson. Everton buzzing now. Casey Keller rushed into a clearance. Well, it's a fairy tale story really for Brian McBride. Scored a couple of goals at the World Cup as the USA, against the odds really, made it to the quarter-finals and did so in some style. And McBride has announced his arrival, or his return to English football anyway, because he had a spell under David Moyes at Preston. He's back, this time with Everton, this time in the top flight. Take that, Tottenham. Here, Watson. Now Ledley King. Spurs yet to settle, but hoping to get into their stride now, and Stephen Carr hoping to make great strides. Came off Gary Naismith. And Spurs are biting back. Anderson. Carr. He's done well, he's done very well, and Stefan Iversen tried to attack it. That was a over-calm header really from Alan Stubbs. They've got his goalkeeper worried, but remember this is the first time that Espen Bårdsen has played for Everton. Spurs looking for a quick reply to Brian McBride's goal. Oh yes, it's in! And it's Gus Poyet, captain for the day. He leads by example. Everton never looked comfortable from the moment Anderton swung it in. It was McBride who got some distance on his header, but it soon came back towards the Everton goal. And Davis won the first header, Poyet won the second. Bårdsen scrambling. It is 1-1. It is some game already. Iversen trying to break away again. Cristoni rolls it back to Bårdsen. Davis. Ledley King. Well, Gus Poyet on target for Tottenham. It's his 49th goal in English football, and the lead didn't last long for David Moyes' side. It was a corner rather needlessly given away as well, if you remember, Stubbs' header. And it proved to be a costly corner. The Tottenham fans have found their voice again, having been quietened by Brian McBride's opener. They're raring to go again after Gus Poyet's equaliser. This is Lee Tier. Pistone. He's taken out by Simon Davis. It'll be a free kick. Davis still being linked with a move to Manchester United during this winter transfer window, and those rumours won't go away. Unsworth and Gemmell standing over the free kick. Yobo has come up for it. David Unsworth straight against the wall. Gets a second bite at it. Always rising though. Everton through and through, David Unsworth. A few seasons ago in a match here, he scored twice. Both of them came from the penalty spot, and Everton still lost 3-2. Didn't really have the goal in his sights again then. Glenn Hoddles on the phone. He prefers to sit upstairs in the director's box, but he has an open line to John Gorman and Chrissy Houghton. Last time Everton won here at White Hart Lane in the mid-80s, Hoddle and Houghton were actually in the Tottenham team. Gemmell. Lee Tier. He's got time to deliver. And it was an important interception from Chris Perry. Brian McBride in the hunt again and relishing his Premier League debut. Everton in a hurry. Lee Tier sends it to Naismith. It's long, but Radzinski managed to flick it back. It's duly dispatched by Ledley King. It'll be retrieved by Joseph Yobo. Yobo launches one. Oh, and the header from Steve Watson, of all people, had Casey Keller stretching. It was hitting hope by Yobo. It might have just been creeping in. Keller wasn't to know, had to deal with it. Watson did score recently against Manchester City. They're queuing up. The corner is a cute one though. It dropped ominously. And Pistone trying his luck from distance. Casey Keller not too troubled by that though. Well, Everton managing 4 attempts on goal. Tottenham just one, but they've scored with their one. And here they go again with Carr running into Lee Tier. Crunching challenge from Anderton. And Anderton caught Unsworth late then, and this might be a card. Maybe a warning. He was quickly to his feet, David Unsworth, to his credit. And it's just a ticking off for Darren Anderton. I think Unsworth saw it coming. Everton have been masters of the 1-0 victory away from home this season. Won't happen today though, that's for sure. Pistone. That comes off Simon Davis. Voted Player of the Year for his country, Wales. And of course, we're up against the Italians. Pistone's likely to be involved. Keller's throw. Carr. Robbie Keane. Intricate passing from Spurs, but it doesn't get them very far, ultimately. They could try again, though. Keane, tripped by Lee Tier, the Chinese international, who played at the World Cup, as did Robbie, the Irish. Tottenham and Everton locked together at 1-1. It's Davis who floats that one in. Oh! Espen Bårdsen made a mess of it. But there was nobody around to capitalise. Had to be a little bit nervous, the Norwegian. He was actually talking of quitting the game after a troubled 2 years or so. Fell out of favour at Watford and then they let him go. He's only on a month's loan at Everton. His future far from secure, but he has a chance to impress today. Have to do better than that, mind you. Here's Radzinski. Perry's challenge. Unsworth. And Steve Watson coming in on it. It wasn't he who got the touch, though. Swirling centre, and seemed to come off the head of Simon Davis, and that's why it's a corner kick. Everton's fourth corner of the game. Gemmell. Ooh, and Yobo claiming another corner and getting it. I think it was Doherty who got in the way. Fast approaching the midway point of the first half. Time to jostle for position. Naismith floats it in. Doherty wasn't too sure it landed. It's now with Pistone. Everton so far this season have amassed 36 points. That's their best tally at this stage of a campaign since the end of the 80s under Howard Kendall, 87-88 season, and they finished 4th that year. Normally, Everton are to be found in the bottom half of the table. Not this season, not under the Premier League's youngest manager, David Moyes. Spurs too have had problems escaping the lower half of the table in recent seasons, but both these teams will fancy a finish in the top half, that's for sure. Everson centre, away by Stubbs. Now Lee Tier. Radzinski. Gemmell. He's threaded it through, looking for the run of McBride, who's already had his say in this game, scoring 10 minutes into his debut, but that was cancelled out by Gus Poyet's header. That was firm from Yobo. Now Radzinski. McBride, and Watson arrives on the scene. Casey Keller will pick that up. It's only the second time Steve Watson has started a match in the Premier League this season. Everton a bit shorter players today, mainly because they are badly hit by suspensions. Rooney, Weir and Gravison all banned. A few injuries too, with their captain Kevin Campbell out. Simon Davis. It's away by Yobo. Keller then has been beaten by his American international teammate Brian McBride. Away by King, but only as far as Pistone. Gemmell. Anderson. Encouraging Stephen Carr to make a run. Terry to King. Davis. Anderson. Cut out by Gary Naismith. And Everton making headway here. It's Radzinski! Oof. Decent try. Making his 50th appearance in the Premier League today. Thomas Radzinski. And this season we are starting to see signs of the man who was so prolific in his time at Anderlecht in Belgium, where his record read 52 goals in 78 league matches. Awesome. Carr. Spurs have only lost once at home this season. That was to Middlesbrough. White Hart Lane is a fairly formidable fortress for them. Certainly has been when Everton have come here in recent years. They never leave with much. Simon Davis has kept it in. Anderson. This is Bunjevcevic. Darren Anderton, time to hit it, and it had plenty on it. Stung the palms of the former Spurs keeper, Espen Boardson. Played 29 times for Tottenham. Boardson was largely second choice though in his 4 years at the Lane to Ian Walker. And of course has also departed now. He's at Leicester, flying high in the First Division. Gus Poyet, Tottenham's goal scorer, slides it through. Oh! Now, Gemmell's challenge right in the D will bring a yellow card from Steve Dunn. A free kick in a very promising position. It was Bunjevcevic who was clipped. Gemmell has to tread carefully now, and that's easier said than done when you're putting yourself about in the midfield. And Spurs come up with something special from this free kick. Darren Anderson seems to fancy it. Everton have got a man on the line as well. It's Anderton. The charger from the wall was the man who gave away the free kick in the first place. Gemmell. Spurs have got a corner out of it. They would have liked a bit more. The sort of attempt that always goes in the top corner on the training ground during the week. Never quite manages to do the same when it comes to the game. Anderton's corner. Doherty trying to get to it. Pistone did enough to put him off. Simon Davis ensuring that Pistone's advance was short-lived. Here's Lee Tier. David Unsworth has missed the last 4 matches in the Premier League through suspension. Sent off against Chelsea, and he also collected 5 yellow cards, hence the 4-match ban. It's Tottenham 1, Everton 1 in the Barclaycard English Premier League with half an hour played. Alan Stubbs joins the Everton gang in the box, so too Yobo. McBride and Radzinski and Watson also in there. Spurs lining up to mark them. Naismith whips it in. Oh, and Alan Stubbs' header not far away. Alan Stubbs was a doubt for this game. He's been struggling with a calf injury. Everton fan as a kid. He was actually released by them. Went on to play for Bolton Wanderers with considerable success, and also with Celtic, where he had to overcome a serious cancer scare twice, in fact. Radzinski out-muscled by Ledley King. It's going to come back, though, for Watson initially. King. That's something to chase. Keane. He's going to get the free kick. Foul by Yobo, who protests his innocence. There's only one Keano. They sing the name of Robbie Keane. Anderton. Oh, somehow it eluded everyone, including Stefan Everson. Well, this couldn't have been more teasing, could it? And nobody could get a flick on it. I don't think Everson expected it to come as far as him. It was Poyet and Doherty who rose. Stubbs there too. Everton will consider themselves fortunate to have escaped. Darren Anderton. Just too high for Everson. It was away by Yobo. Then by Unsworth. Ledley King gets it back from Chris Perry, who didn't really want it in the first place, with the Everton strikers closing in. Bastoni sends it through to Espen Bårdsen, who didn't know he was playing until just before kick-off, after Richard Wright did his knee in the warm-up. I'm sure the Spurs fans were waiting to take the mickey out of Wright as well, because he dropped a clanger here last season playing for Arsenal in the North London derby. Now Poyet sniffing out a goal again. As Poyet was sent off at Goodison last season, he's had a much greater effect on the proceedings this time around. And White Hart Lane, and Glenn Hoddle has come down to the dugout. There's only one Sergei Rebrov is the cry around White Hart Lane, a player who hasn't had much of a look in under Glenn Hoddle, the Ukrainian striker. And there are reports in the English papers today that he was suffering from a nervous breakdown. Gary Doherty was linked with the move to Bolton Wanderers this week. It's believed that Tottenham offered him and Ben Thatcher in exchange for Michael Ricketts and a bit of cash. Watson, McBride. There's one back by Everton, but a stray pass. Ten minutes to go in the first half. Radzinski. Watson has advanced into the box. Decent turn. Everton won it, but it drops at the feet of Pistone. Radzinski, collected by Keller, and it needed to be, with McBride and others lurking. Spurs' best finish in the Premier League was 7th in the 94-95 season. Everton's highest finish was 6th the season after. In fact, that was the only time Everton have finished in the top half since the Premier League was formed a decade ago. Looking good to do it again, though. Davis. Anderson. Carr. Looking to make it happen for Spurs. It's easily taken though by Bordson. Foul by Ledley King on Radzinski. Radzinski has really come into his own this season. McBride, Gemmell, Radzinski, handball from Goran Bunjevcevic, the Yugoslavian international. Free kick in useful territory for Everton. Casey Keller sorting out his wall. Alan Stubbs has been known to hit them. And Stubbs does hit it. Plenty of power, not quite matched by the precision. But we've seen him do that a few times and find the net in his career, most notably at Bolton. Casey Keller was in the Millwall side that knocked Everton out of the League Cup a few years back. He's now strutting his stuff with Tottenham. Brian McBride scoring on his debut. Became the first American to score in 2 World Cups. Unsworth. Naismith. Unsworth delivers. Oh! Watson flung himself at it. And a free kick given away by Stubbs, almost on the centre spot. Stephen Carr. Anderson. Being hounded by Lee Tier. It's away by Yobo. It breaks for Gemmell. Now Stubbs. Doherty was stretching. Radzinski. Offside as Unsworth poked it back. Steve Watson suddenly peeled away here. Definitely onside. His header went the wrong way. Inside the final 5 minutes of the first half. Simon Davis rather relieved to see Watson's wayward header. Six times in the last 10 seasons since the Premier League began, Everton have been involved in a relegation battle. It's a different story, though, it seems, now that David Moyes has taken charge. Moyes has made the best start that any Everton manager has managed since Harry Catterick over 40 years ago. Keller's clearance. Unsworth won the battle with Carr. Anderson shielding it for a throw. Lietier. Everson slid in. Naismith. McBride. Robbie Keane signed for £7 million from Leeds on transfer deadline day in August, forcing Yobo into conceding a free kick. Spurs looking to go in front before the break. They won't do so like that. Pistone. Ledley King. Now, Everson. And Yobo breathing down the back of his shirt. Stephen Everson in the side with Teddy Sheringham injured. A knee problem for Sheringham. Same story for Dean Richards too, who's been missing from the defence a couple of games lately. Everson. Cut out by Pistone. The turn was from McBride. Perry beat Radzinski to it though, and now Stephen Carr can go on his merry way. And Carr's hit troubled Espen Bårdsen, his former teammate. Stephen Carr getting back to his best. He missed all of last season through injury and the World Cup, of course, and then did his hamstring on the opening day of this season against Everton. Goodison. 2 minutes to go to half-time. It's another swirler from Anderson. Doherty in the thick of it. Stephen Carr tries again and gets a corner again. It's 5 each on corners. It's 1-1 on goals. And Spurs trying to change that now. Familiar corner from Anderson. Away by McBride. The throw will be left for Carr. Carr flipped it over the head of Gary Naismith, but now it's a goal kick, and Everton will certainly settle for that. Stephen Carr, the only Spurs man on the field who played the last time Tottenham lost to Everton, which was going on 6 years ago. But it has been a remarkable run for Spurs against the Blues of Merseyside. But that 11-match unbeaten sequence is being tested to the full today. Seconds remaining of normal time in the first half. Everton looking to end the half on a high. It's Unsworth. Just 1 minute of added on time then. Two early goals. But both teams have stifled each other since in their quest for more. Ledley King's throw. Came through to Gus Poyet. Robbie Keane chasing. Yobo held him off. Stone, the Italian, played for Newcastle before he came to Everton. It is half-time at White Hart Lane. It's 1-1. Everton made a storming start. Brian McBride making a name for himself. An earlier than expected debut with Rooney and Campbell both out. McBride came in and didn't take long to make his mark in the top flight. But Gus Poyet, who's been making his mark for a few years now, popped up with a quick equaliser. So at half-time in the Barclaycard English Premier League, it's Tottenham Hotspur 1, Everton 1. Since the Premier League began a decade ago, Everton have managed just one victory in 21 games against Tottenham. They really are a bogey team, and that win came going on 6 years ago at Goodison. So Everton certainly have a few scores to settle, but Spurs in no mood to budge against a team who they normally fare rather well against. Simon Davis's throw. Everson trying to make his presence felt, but it's cleared by the Chinese international Lee Tier. Here's the Irish international Stephen Carr. Poyet's flick. Away by Unsworth, giving Radzinski something to chase. Ledley King holding him off. Spurs sorely missed him the first few months of the season, Ledley King. His season began in November after 7 months out with a hip injury. I'm sure Sven-Göran Eriksson will be watching his performance with interest, because he has been trying to get him involved in the England setup. Joseph Yobo. David Unsworth. Asking a bit too much of Gary Naismith. Gary Doherty given a rare outing by Glenn Hoddle today. He nearly joined Cardiff a few weeks ago on loan. Keller and Terry. Not quite on the same wavelength. I thought there was a shout of mine from Casey Keller, and he then changed his mind. Everton hoping the long throw will prove beneficial. Stephen Carr, though, made contact. Back in by Gemmell, back out by Doherty. Back in by Gemmell again, or he found Naismith at any rate. Now Robbie Keane. Everson is up there with him, but Keane will wait for support. It arrives in the shape of Carr. Keane. Anderson. Keane's flick. Radzinski has got away from Doherty. This could be ominous for Spurs. Radzinski. It's Gary Naismith who'd made the run through the middle. Gemmell. Lee Tier. Oh, that's a sizzling strike from Alessandro Pistone. Casey Keller, though, not too bothered by it. Already beaten by his American international colleague today, Brian McBride. Keller, though, was second choice on the USA national side at the World Cup. Brad Friedel, the #1. And what a season he's had, by the way, at Blackburn. Outstanding. Simon Davis getting ready for a long throw. Ledley King adding some aerial prowess. Terry. Pistone. Just as he was about to hit it, Poyet moved in but couldn't keep it in. He was a favourite with the Chelsea fans, Poyet, and soon endeared himself to the Tottenham faithful as well. Gus Poyet, in fact, scoring against Everton for the first time today, something he didn't manage in his time at Chelsea. And Casey Keller does come to meet it. Martinski. Pistone. Poyet. Anderson. And onside. What a chance here for Keane. He's taken it. And Spurs are in front. And you can see what it means to Robbie Keane. Everton looked forlornly for a flag, but it wasn't forthcoming. Keane was living on the edge, but he was onside, and as soon as he took that ball, you kind of knew what was going to happen next. Spurs have turned it around. There's only one Keano in these parts. It's Robbie Keane. It's 2-1 to Tottenham. A storming start to the second half for Spurs, who have slipped to 10th in the table. Glenn Hoddle's side could go up to 8th today and could go on to the same number of points as Liverpool. Also, they would move within a point of Everton. It's quite tightly packed behind the leading clubs. Carr. Still going. Now Carr with time to deliver. He does just that. And Simon Davis is foiled by Bourtson. Well, he's had a nervous afternoon, Espen Bourtson. Called upon after Richard Wright injured his knee in the warm-up. But Bourtson with a fine save there. It may well have been creeping in the corner from Simon Davis. Richard Wright forced to sit this one out. Anderton's corner taken by Bourtson. Unsworth. Gemmell. Lee Tier. Yobo. Offside against Pistone. So Robbie Keane scores against Everton for the first time. It was a mighty close one, but it went the way of Keane in all aspects, and the trademark celebration He has fired Spurs in front. And is the Tottenham hoodoo going to go on for Everton? Gus Poyet began the recovery with Spurs equaliser after Brian McBride had opened his Everton account with a fine finish. Stoney, Gemmell, Stubbs, Unsworth. Oh, it came all the way through to Lee Tier, away by Perry. And again, I think there's an anywhere will do clearance. And Everton are hitting back now. Pistone's long throw. There's a push by McBride. David Moyes signing the American on a 3-month loan. He's due to return stateside in April to play in their league for Columbus Crew. But David Moyes knows him rather well. He brought him to Preston North End for a loan spell. Was in the first division of the Nationwide League. Gus Poyet. Doherty now. 10 minutes gone in the second half. Spurs leading Everton 2-1 in the Barclaycard English Premier League. Anderton, mesmerising move this. Twisting and turning Robbie Keane. Trying to turn provider that time. Spurs in the ascendancy here. They have really meant business at the start of the second half. Big business. Darren Anderton's corner. It comes back to him. Not the best of touches, mind you. But hey, he'll try again. That's a bit better from Anderton. Breaks though for McBride. Lee Tier was the furthest man forward. Unsworth. Radzinski. McBride's touch. Here's Gemmell. Pistone. And Doherty having to turn it behind for a corner. Everton far from finish yet. Giving it a go now. The Everton fans are in that corner. Stubbs' header. It's back to Gemmell, who took the corner. Now Lee Tier. Oh, teasing cross that. Stubbs! Beaten away by Casey Keller. Alan Stubbs stubbed out by the American keeper. But a good spell this for Everton now as they put the pressure on. Naismith and Gemmell, the corner combination. Gemmell's delivery is not bad. And it is an equaliser for Steve Watson. Well, he has scored in both his starts this season. Having been troubled by injuries and been a bit part player for much of the campaign, Steve Watson suddenly plays a big part.
57 minutes and 32 seconds from number 2, Steve Watson.
And Everton's persistence pays off. It was a poor attempted clearance from Everton, I think, and it fell invitingly for Watson. They had been pounding away at Tottenham's goal. They have made it 2-2. Well, Steve Watson hasn't been called upon much because of injuries, and hasn't generally been a first-team regular anyway this season, even when he has been fit. Poyet caught Stubbs then. His arm was outstretched. I don't think there was any malice intended. Saw one though, for Alan Stubbs, nonetheless. He's probably taken a few of them in his career, but I think there's blood there. Steve Dunn, the man in charge today. There's a fair bit of blood, in fact. Steve Watson to the rescue. Scored against Manchester City on New Year's Day in his first league start of the season. And he's done it again in his second league start. Always been a wholehearted player, full of commitment to the cause. Once upon a time, the cause was his hometown club, Newcastle United. And there were a lot of fans of Newcastle who were sorry to see him go when he left for Aston Villa. And then Aston Villa sold him on to Everton. They are trying to stem the blood. The Spurs fans are becoming a little impatient, but it's imperative that Alan Stubbs is okay. Stubbs well and truly clotted by Poyet. Not intentionally so. Now, he is one of the game's characters, Gus Poyet. An engaging character, if a little mad at times. He likes being called mad. Vite. Perry. Poyet. Cut out by Yobo. Flag was up. Davis. Anderson trying to put Stephen Carr away. Doherty slid in. Carr. Keane. Just tickled off his toes by Pistoni, but here's Bunjevcevic. Now King. Anderson. Picked his moment to send it in. And it was Gus Poyet who stooped but didn't quite conquer. Bordson made sure of that. Alan Stubbs has come back on now for Everton. They have plugged the blood. Gemmell. Wasteful. Alan Stubbs is okay. Just about anyway. Davis, Poyet. Now King. Spurs have lost their last 2 matches in the Premier League, and of course they were also beaten in the FA Cup. Southampton. Everton have drawn their last 4 in the Premier League. Steve Dunn still a little concerned because Alan Stubbs' nose is bleeding again. So they have to go off and be patched up again. Try and stem the flow. Carr. Doherty. Perry. Bunjevcevic. Doherty. Which launched towards Stefan Ederson. Ederson managed to shake off Watson to some extent. Now Robbie Keane. Joseph Yobo was soon in and around him. McBride. Pistone. Still no Stubbs there at the moment as they try and stop the flow of blood. Really a nice move from Spurs. Davies was at full stretch. Stubbs has now returned. Knocked out by Chris Perry. Better safe than sorry. Neither side have come up with much in the way of chances since Everton equalised. Watson. Poyet. King. Stubbs wary of the presence of Bunjevcevic and he sends it into touch. King. Radzinski chipping away at him. Perry to Doherty. Davis for Carr. Oops. He kept it in, Simon Davis. His delivery was met by Yobo. Unsworth. Chased by Radzinski. No getting away from Chris Perry though. Now Stephen Carr trying to arouse Tottenham. Poyet. Robbie Keane goes for goal. Nearly finds it. He's in the mood. Tantalising try from the Republic of Ireland man. Just couldn't get enough curl on it. Doherty won the header. Everton ahead as far as attempts on goal are concerned, but it remains 2-2. Are these teams heading for a 5th successive draw between them? There's still a quarter of the game to go. Lots can change in that time. Bunjevcevic. That'll be Unsworth's ball. They both nearly took out the linesman then. Stephen Carr made a bold attempt to get to it. Nigel Bannister it is with the flag. You didn't want to get in the way of them two, did you? Stephen Carr tried to foul him then. Here's Keane. And Spurs are in front again. And it's Robbie Keane again. A feeling of deja vu as Keane celebrates
scored after 67 minutes
And this
46 seconds.
topsy-turvy tussle takes another tantalising twist. Robbie Keane saw a glimpse of goal, and all he needed was that glimpse. Into the bottom corner it goes. It's Spurs 3, Everton 2. And it's a double for Robbie Keane. Well, it's proved to be some game between these two. Yobo. Well, Everton have come back before, they have to do it again. Robbie Keane is on a hat-trick now. His Tottenham tally stands at 8 after his double today. Maybe he's finally found a place to call home, because Spurs are his 5th club in 4 years. Ben Huddle will have seen things he didn't like today, but Spurs are in front. That's all that matters at the moment. And it's been a goal fest in North London. And Spurs hang on to their lead this time. Spurs in the mood for more. Stephen Carr's centre, Keane loitering with intent. The intent of scoring a hat-trick. So with 20 minutes to go, Yobo oofed it away. Come on, you Spurs, is the cry around White Hart Lane. The Tottenham faithful wait for Anderton's corner. And Doherty was clambering. Alan Stubbs has had his nose plugged up after taking that whack from Poyet earlier. He's hoping that has done the trick. Simon Davis. Oh, lovely ball. Everson! Just wide. Everyone was waiting to see where that was going to drop. It was nearly 4-2 and Tottenham might need that cushion. It's a far from comfortable lead for them. It's been a far from comfortable game for them, but Everson got there. But he was unable to beat his fellow countryman Borton. Everson's header, and the flag is up this time against Robbie Keane. It's no hat-trick yet, but I'm sure he'll be back for more. Spurs made a storming start to the season. They were top of the table in August, but that doesn't count for much, does it? Ben Hoddle was named manager of the month. Far better to get those kind of awards and that sort of recognition come the month of May, when everything is ultimately decided. But Spurs are still in there with a shout of European football. Quite a big shout, actually. And so are Everton. There are a lot of precious points to be played for yet. Everton looking to come back again. Rantinski chasing this, and he's got a corner out of it. These are tense times at White Hart Lane as Everton respond again. The quick corner. Naismith's delivery is long. And then Ledley King deals with the threat of Alan Stubbs. Now, here go Tottenham on the break. Davis. Keane. He's on a hat-trick himself. Everton got bodies back quick. touch back from Yobo. Everton, remember, without Wayne Rooney today, he's suspended. Without David Weir, also suspended. Thomas Gravesen banned too. Kevin Campbell, their captain, injured, and they lost their goalkeeper in the warm-up, Richard Wright. Picked up a knee injury, and that's why Espen Bårdsen was thrust into the action, and it's been a nervy afternoon for the former Tottenham keeper. Here's the Chinese international, Li Tie. Oh, and it comes from Radzinski. It's 3-3. What an incredible game. Thomas Radzinski to the rescue for Everton. Well, there have been so many twists and turns at White Hart Lane today. And Thomas Radzinski,
seconds from number 8, Thomas Radzinski,
who scored a late equaliser against Spurs on the opening day at Goodison, has got another equaliser against them at White Hart Lane. But you wonder whether the scoring stops here. It's been that kind of game. It's 3-3. Well, a quarter of an hour to go in a fascinating encounter in the Barclaycard English Premier League. And all of a sudden there is a hush around White Hart Lane, just as they thought it was going their way. We said that 3-2 might not be enough. It was never going to be too comfortable. It's up for grabs again. Thomas Radzinski has had an excellent season, but then quite a few have excelled for Everton. Li Tie looking for Radzinski, but Chris Perry will touch it back to Casey Keller. David Moyes' side. Fighting back again. But here come Tottenham again. Bunjevcevic. Iversen. I tell you what, it looked like he was being held then, and Steve Dunn had a perfect view. That's a late lunge from Doherty, which will probably bring a yellow card, but Stefan Iversen is fuming with Steve Dunn. He felt he should have had a penalty, and it looked initially like he might have had a strong case. Doherty, meantime, is going to get booked, but Iversen was held initially by Pistone, stopped him getting to it, and then Yobo charged in anyway. Steve Dunn was totally unmoved. Brian McBride was waiting to pounce then, and Doherty needed to get a touch on it, and suddenly the pendulum swings in Everton's favour. Mind you, that pendulum has been swinging one way or another all afternoon, and it might have a few more swings to go yet. Naismith's delivery. It's only cleared as far as Li Tie. David Unsworth launches one. Here's Stubbs. Bunjevcevic moved in. Now Iversen. With the outside of his boot, he's given Robbie Keane something to chase. Oh, Yobo took it away from Bårdsen. Got a bit lucky as well, because it cannoned off Keane. I don't think Joseph Yobo is trusting his keeper too much now. Stephen Carr. Nobody quite knows what to expect next. On by Poyet, but straight through for Bårdsen. huge kick. McBride held on to it, but the flag is up now against Radzinski, whose goal has made it 3-3. And Spurs are going to make a change soon, with Simovic the likely man to come on. Oh, it's a free kick. Alan Stubbs had a bit to say about it, but Tottenham might fancy having a go from here. They have people who can hit it, like Anderson and Carr. Maybe even Keane as well. The Everton wall will be ordered back. Well, what Tottenham would have practiced on their training ground this week, they will hope will come to fruition here. Darren Anderton! Nearly, but not quite. It stays at 3-3, but not for the want of trying on the part of either side. And that one just skidded wide. So Milenko Simovic is going to come on. The Slovenian international takes the place of Stefan Iversen.
Substitution for Spurs, replacing number 16 Stefan Iversen, number 21 Milenko Simovic.
Simovic will try to create and deliver a decent ball. Who wants the 3 points? It's difficult to predict which way it might go, if indeed it will go the one way. Stubbs caught out then by Simovic. Now Poyet. It'll trickle through to Bårdsen. He will calm it down, but only for a few seconds. Brian McBride amongst those waiting for this. He's certainly getting fair distance on his kicks. Bunjevcevic. And Keane chasing in after Pistone had knocked it back to Bårdsen. Steve Watson. Radzinski. Treading a fine line down there. Radzinski lost out to Perry. Now Anderton. Now Carr. It has been an absorbing encounter. Doherty. Everton with Gemmell. Radzinski chasing, but it carries to Keller. Everton seeking their first win at White Hart Lane since 1985. It's been a long old wait, but here come Tottenham, looking to inflict more misery upon them in this particular part of London. But the strike from Simovic, way off target. Well, it's been an eventful day for Espen Bårdsen, who arrived at his former club, not expecting to play a part, but to sit on the bench. Richard Wright injured his knee in the warm-up. And Bårdsen found himself back on the big stage and back at White Hart Lane of all places. Oh, mistake from Stubbs, and Robbie Keane burst towards goal. He has done it! Hat-trick hero and superhero for Tottenham Hotspur. The Spurs fans simply adore him, but it was a mistake from Alan Stubbs that let him in. It all stemmed from the kick out from Bolton. It soon came straight back towards him, but Alan Stubbs will have nightmares about that one. As for Robbie Keane, well, he's in dreamland. It is a hat-trick for Keane. He's been in the mood today, and some mood. And Spurs are ahead for the third time in the match. 4-3. Extraordinary encounter. Now can Tottenham hang on this time? Carr. Everton will feel that they have done enough to get something out of this remarkable match. They still might. Spurs' defence has looked as brittle as Everton's at times. But with just over 5 minutes to go, it is a free kick. Robbie Keane with a hat-trick for Tottenham. There is only one Keano, rings around White Hart Lane again. There's the only Keano that matters in these parts. We'll get the other Irish Keano. Simovic. Carr. Everton are going to bring on Lee Carsley as they look to save themselves again. Cruel mistake from Alan Stubbs, and David Moyes' side are teetering on the edge. Joseph Yobo is going to come off. Everton have to gamble now. Yobo replaced by Lee Carsley, Irish international teammate of Robbie Keane. Can he have an effect on this game too? Not quite in the way that Keane has managed, that's for sure. Everton are in need of inspiration in the closing stages. They don't care where it comes from. Anderson. Daintily done. Here he is again. A crafty cross. Simon Davis beaten to it by Alan Stubbs, who will be gutted if Everton lose this. His mistake led in Keane for his hat-trick goal. He still had a bit to do, Robbie Keane, but he did it, and how. Darren Anderton's corner. Bunjevcic, Davis. Doherty. Two number 12s together. Doherty and Leitier. Now Ledley King. It's going to be a fascinating finale to a gripping game. Stubbs. It's a pretty decent ball, and Radzinski could be in yet. Hoisted away by Chris Perry. Well, Everton, they went 1-0 up in this game, but they were 2-1 down. They were 3-2 down and came back. Can they make it a hat-trick of recoveries and force another equaliser? They have a free kick. Maybe there is more to come in this game yet. You wouldn't be surprised actually the way it's gone. Tottenham though, ready to charge out now, and Everton have committed plenty of bodies forward. Here's Robbie Keane, scorer of 3 goals this afternoon. Carr, Keane, and it was nudged behind for a corner. Inside the last minute of normal time. There's going to be 3 minutes added on. Everton could have done with a bit more, Tottenham could have done with a bit less. Oh, it's disappeared over off the boot of Bunjevcevic. Well, there is still time for Everton to mount yet another salvage operation. Doherty's header. Here's David Unsworth. Everton throwing bodies in there. Casey Keller calms everyone down.
The fourth division has indicated there will be a minimum of 3 minutes stoppage time.
3 minutes for Everton to find their way to goal. Neither side has stood particularly firm defensively today. A worrying afternoon tactically for the managers, but an enjoyable afternoon for the fans. And Everton are going to give a debut to Leon Osman, who was only called onto the bench at the last minute when Richard Wright injured his knee and Bolton was called into the team. The Chinese international Lee Tier is the man to make way for young Leon Osman, who has the chance to make some name for himself. It's been such a crazy day, you wouldn't be surprised if the kid suddenly came up with a last gasp equaliser. But here is Poyet. Ooh, and Asimovic going for goal. Here comes a huge kick from Espen Bårdsen. Chris Perry made it his. Gemmell. High into the sky from Carr. And it dropped nicely for Anderson. Now Asimovic. And suddenly Tottenham are closing in on goal again. Robbie Keane couldn't take it with him that time, and it's away by Lee Carsley. Poyet gets the throw off Watson. Spurs are nearly there, just a minute to go. And a free kick now, even if Asimovic did seem to take a while to hit the ground. The points surely belong to Spurs, and boy did they need them after a little slide recently. Spurs looking to clinch it, drilled in by Anderton. Maybe one last chance here for Everton, but they've got to get it upfield and quick. Seconds remaining at White Hart Lane. It's away by Ledley King. They've just got to keep the ball now. It's all over. A 7-goal thriller at White Hart Lane. Robbie Keane, the main man, though, with a hat-trick. A stunning hat-trick too. And it is glory, glory Tottenham Hotspur today. But what an amazing and astounding game it was. Spurs fell behind early on, but they were ahead 3 times in the match, and finally managed to hang on. Espen Bårdsen, the standing keeper, beaten 4 times by his former club, but this day belongs to Robbie Keane. A quite extraordinary encounter, an enjoyable encounter, unless you happen to be part of the Everton scene. Thomas Rodzinski thought he'd salvaged the point. Robbie Keane had other ideas, and it finishes in the Barclaycard English Premier League. Tottenham Hotspur 4, Everton 3.